I am the digitally disabled.
He was stroking. Oh, yes, he was stroking my leg with his foot. So I just like pulled out of the pants and I just like ripped him because it's like pop, 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 pop. So now I ripped my pants while recording a podcast.
All right.
The things never end.
Nope.
Well, that is one thing that will have to remain physical in Aaron's future world that he wants to talk about.
Ripping pants.
Oh, welcome once again. My name is Paul, and I am joined by Aaron, the digitally disabled, as he calls himself. As I have learned recently, and much to my dismay, Aaron has never watched The Matrix, and I am just so sad because he keeps talking about this stuff. He's like, "Whoa, how would we reproduce a non-physical world with digital only, and how would we be connected to the computer, and how would we do this?" And I'm like, The Matrix. I'm like, red pill versus blue pill, and he's like, "Oh, did you know about the spider?" I'm like, "No, that's not what I'm talking about." Oh. And to be serious, do you know what the term in culture, like red pill, blue pill, do you know what that means? And obviously, it's nothing political. Red is not Republican, blue is not Democrat, but red versus blue pill. Do you know what that means?
No. No idea.
Okay, so spoiler alert if you haven't seen The Matrix. So, spoiler alert, Aaron.
For me.
In part of The Matrix, when Morpheus offers Neo, he goes, you can take the red pill and learn the truth. Or you can take the blue pill and remain content in your ignorance.
Whoa.
So, because in culture, there's also the terms white pilled, black pilled, all that stuff. And so in certain podcasts that you listen to, they'll go, when was your red pill moment? When is the moment that you decided that you want to start looking and seeing what that truth is? When is that moment that you want to say, I don't care if this makes me uncomfortable. I want to see how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Yeah.
I'm willing to look at the truth now. That's being red pilled. Blue pilled means you want to stay in your happy little comfy bubble and be like, feed me, baby. Feed me, Papa Biden.
Not Biden. No.
Oh no, there's creepy things all with Biden, but that's,
I can only imagine.
There's a video I saw. It was a filter that someone put on they made a filter for a video app.
Yeah.
So there was a little girl. She's like looking in the mirror. She thinks she sees something. She looks over a mirror, over her shoulder. Thinks she sees something. Looks over her shoulder, and then she moves the mirror just right where the filter kicks in, and then it's Biden like over her shoulder, kissing her neck, sniffing her neck.
Chills. I don't like that.
I was like, so now they're even making that into filters for apps. That's great. That's gonna go. But anyways, yes, Aaron now understands what it means to be red pilled on something.
To be exposed to the truth.
Well, not even just be exposed to truth, but understand that this truth may make you uncomfortable because it may be something that you have been making a bunch of assumptions in your life about how things work. And then you have this red pill moment, something happens in your life, and all of a sudden you're like, I have been lied to my entire life.
Yeah.
Everyone's been lying to me about X, Y, or Z.
And
you hear it with a bunch of people where, they're like, yes, they're like 5-6 years ago, I'd believe the news. Like if it was on the news, it's 100% true, whatever. And then they're like, and then I was involved in a situation where I saw what happened. I saw what the news said, and I saw how I reacted. And when I told them, no, I was there, they go, no, the news said this. They're like, that was their red pill moment.
Yeah.
They interviewed people, and they were the ones who provided the material to the news, and the news edited it. And then
swung it their way, and
then they're like, that was my red pill moment, that the news lies at times. Now, that's not to say every news lies in that, but it's
they
become
do.
it's become a normal enough common occurrence. I'm not saying every news channel lies all the time, or that all news channels lie, but there have been multiple instances where we have caught the news media kind of just going with this objective and everything. Let's take a look recently, the big news narrative, when Trump was president, over the Russia gate and all that stuff, and then turns out, oh, wait, nope, none of that was real. It was all fabricated. But, a lot of the news channels went with it regardless. And it just got to be a little bit on the crazier side, which...
Right. But then, for their benefit, it got them views.
Right.
But
that's not what we're here to talk about. We're not here to talk about how Aaron just got red pilled into understanding what red pilling means.
I am now uncomfortable.
We have just become recursive with red pills. Nope. Aaron instead wanted to talk about digital life, digitally disabled, and
Which is me.
How everything is moving into that realm of the digital landscape. And it's making people like Aaron, who are not very comfortable with living in digital life, a little scared.
I guess
You and my mom would get along in that regard.
Yeah. I
would not hook you up with her on a date.
Oh, please don't.
That's reserved for Josh.
Thank you. Okay. I would just disappoint anyways. But.
Okay.
Well, because I've got that. And,
No, you two don't believe in the same conspiracy theories.
Yeah, there's that too. I'm not on that board. I'm not on that train either. So
anyways, Aaron,
but yeah,
you're like, quick ideas, blah blah blah, and I was like, quick ideas, okay. I got a word or two
basically,
and I was like, I'm gonna have to rely on the originator of said words to give me a little more framework. So, Aaron, you originally wrote back about how everything is going digital.
Yeah.
So, why don't you expound upon that, and then we'll go ahead and start rolling on it.
Okay. So, all right. So there's this stuff that's been around now for a little while, which I don't know how long it's been around for, but like the whole paying on your phone. You have insurance information on your phone for insurance cards and stuff like that. And then I just saw in the news, it's like, oh yeah, now there's talk of, putting your driver's license on your phone, so you don't necessarily have to have the physical copy with you, or it's just convenience for the matter of it. Okay. So, and which I get, and I'm not I don't know, I'm not bothered by that part. I guess I know I'm sure some people would be like, well, if you put that information on your phone, it's just gonna be that much easier to get from people. All of your information's already out there anyways, so it doesn't matter, I suppose. It was, oh my gosh. So I am currently looking for health insurance stuff, whatever.
Right.
And as I was filling out information about me for this application, it got to a section where it was like, okay, so I was like, hey, do any of these do any of these things in these boxes have anything to do with you or whatever? And do you have any relation to any of these lists of things? And one of them is for work or for a job or whatever. And out of all the places, it picks Speed Tech to put into that list. I'm like, how do y'all know I work at Speed Tech? It's I know you didn't put that in there just as a random thing. I work there. So it's just freaky stuff like that. It's because all of this information's out there in the air.
Well, it's not in the air.
No, it's not in the air.
It's on servers. Yes, it's in the cloud, which the cloud is just someone else's data center. But anyways, I digress from that. So to answer your question on that, how they knew that?
Yeah.
It's tied through your Social Security.
That's right. Okay.
So what that segment there was doing. Well, no. So what that segment there was doing, where it's do any of these tie to you? It was essentially trying to do a check to make sure that you were who you say you were.
yeah.
It's like going to a website and you have to click the little box that says I'm not a robot, and then it
Yeah.
goes, click on all the boxes with pictures of bicycles.
Yeah.
And then you fail at it because you don't realize that the computer recognizes as a bicycle. When you look and you're like, no, that's an electronic e-bike, not a bicycle.
Oh my
And they go,
gosh.
no, it is a bicycle. And then
It's
you
a
fail.
bicycle.
And then it goes, oh, nope, you're a robot. They're like,
Gotta do it again.
but that's what that's doing.
It's just
So-
authenticating. that.
So it's authenticating. So those type of lists will either pull up multiple items which are true for you,
And then some that are not.
or I've even been to ones where it pulls up all of them as not related to me.
Yes.
Because
yes.
what if you don't, like, let's say I stole your social security number and I didn't know you real well. Like I bought your number online and I would do that and then be like, well, one of these must be true, right? Let's pick
that
this one, see if I'm lucky.
Nope.
And then you're not lucky.
Then you're screwed.
Well,
not screwed,
they might give you a few times to
Correct yourself.
to correct yourself. But anyways, I digress. Go on.
Yeah. But I guess I was just thinking, and it's funny because like recently, before I saw the whole thing with like having your driver's license now on your phone, I'm surprised that's not already a thing. I don't know why it wouldn't be. I am kind of curious as to why that's just now becoming a thing. But we watched the movie Wall-E, and I was just thinking, I was like, man, at what point, like, how long do we have until we get there? I mean, we have the Teslas coming out with self-driving cars. There's, I remember the whole thing about them talking about their self-driving semi-trucks.
Yep.
It's just like, at what point is just everything going to be done for us? And we don't... One, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. Because that is, for me, gosh, just working on my computer, doing stuff on my computer, I don't know what the heck I'm doing a lot of the time. And then you or Nico, like, will come along and be like, oh, well, there's this and that and this. And, I mean, my computer's just a mess. And then you guys come along and make things much better for me. But it's, one, I guess my other thought with it was like, how long do we have to wait until we can get to a point where it'll be easy enough to integrate just things being all digital? Because like with people, like with the boomer generation, like they're not, there's no hope, I suppose, really for them to jump on the bandwagon.
Well, at least those who aren't technical, because
Right. There are some that are.
because
yes,
at my job we have a bunch of boomers.
yeah. Let's say there's some that are going to be very good with it. And then, so it's like, I mean, I guess to some point you're always going to have people that are going to hate technology no matter the generation. Yeah, there's going to be people that don't want to have anything to do with technology.
Yeah.
But if they're born into it, it's like they don't know any better. Because, like, when we were talking about for like the 9/11 episode, for you, I mean, you were in college and you had flip phones. Me, I mean, I've had...
Well, flip phones might have been generous. I think at that time,
Okay.
like
Or like the Nokia brick.
the Nokia brick was still
Yeah.
like flip phones might have been still like
So-
a couple years away.
Yeah, I suppose, because I remember having my first phone it was like the Razor.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, and that was, I think I had that in like 6th, 7th grade, so that would have been 2008. But at that point, the first iPhone had come out though.
Yeah.
So, gosh, I don't know. But anyway, so it's like, for me, the stuff that I have now, it's like it's easy. I mean, we grow into it and get used to it. But if things are just always continuing to become more and more and more advanced.
So
It's mind blowing to me. It's like, what are we gonna do if I don't know. My mind is
yeah. So
broken.
just to let you know, the original Razr flip phone was released in the third quarter of 2004.
2004.
Yep.
Oh, and now they're bringing flip phones back. Well, but touch screen flip phones,
But okay,
bendable
so
screens. That's really weird.
anyways, so you brought up actually a very important question, I think.
What's that?
I don't even think you realized
I
it.
probably didn't know.
Your question is at what point is everything done for us, and how,
Oh,
and
okay.
where I bring that further, then what are the implications of that?
Right.
Like you were talking about, like like in the world of Wall-E, what do you do for other things? So this actually, it brings up a very basic human question. Are humans, by their very nature, good, curious, and self-driven? Are humans, without the necessity of being required to work to be able to get something, in our case, money, to be able to trade for food, to be able to survive, or entertainment, or
we
pleasure, would we work? Would we be self-driven to continue discovering? And would we be curious enough to be like, what else can I do now that I have all this free time? Now, if you're a fan of Star Trek like myself, right? Star Trek answers that and says, when there is no longer a need to be able to have to, work hard to get basic material goods, food and that. So in Star Trek world,
Yeah.
I don't know how familiar you are with Star Trek. They have this wonderful device called a replicator.
Okay.
By the time the next generation comes around. And the replicator, it's just a little module installed like in a wall of their ship, or it'd be in a home, if they were in a home. They'd go up to and be like, computer, I'd like an ice cream sundae, please. Or computer, I'd like steak and potatoes. Computer, I'd like a whiskey on the rocks. There's no longer that necessity for humans at that point to spend time working to create to get basic materials. Even if they wanted, they wanted a pocket watch. Hey, computer, can I get a pocket watch? You wouldn't have to work for any of that. Like all this stuff I'm seeing around here.
Yeah.
Around your
speak it into existence, basically.
Well, yeah, like your drum set, you have to do like piece by piece, essentially. Be like, hey, I'd like a symbol of the Zildjian brand, make it this dimension, and you could even change the material it's made of. So you could have a steel one, a bronze one, all that stuff. And the replicator would do that. And their thing is, they're like, okay, we now have this. We don't have to worry about growing food. We don't have to worry about doing all this stuff.
Right.
We can spend the time exploring the stars.
See, and at that point, is there value to anything anymore?
That is asking those questions. And
Yeah.
what are humans by nature good, curious, and self-driven? What do they find value in?
No.
Do they find value in the material objects, or do they find value in expanding their mind and exploring that which is around them?
I mean, both. I feel like a majority would be no. But then you get those few that just, like I guess you'd call them the nerds of your classroom, where they're always trying to outperform and do better and really push themselves. You're always going to have those people. So to some degree, yes, but I'd say masses,
Okay.
no.
Let me ask you this, Aaron.
Uh-oh.
Right now, I somehow am able to replicate a replicator for you.
Whoa.
You got one, right? You no longer have to worry about money because you could just replicate gas.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about money. You don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
What would you spend your time doing?
Brick. Becoming a blob.
So Wall-E. You would Wall-E-tize yourself.
Yeah, I'd be Wally.
You'd be, the people of Wall-E.
Yes.
But you'd
Yes.
Wall-E-tize yourself.
I'd become that. I'd listen to music all day.
So that's one of the things that we have to think about as that
Yeah.
is that underlying question. Because if we can't answer this question, are humans actually good? Well, humans, let's be honest, humans are not naturally good.
No, absolutely not.
And for those who are Christian, you learn through the Bible that we are born sinful. We are born when to go after these desires of our hearts. And let's be honest, desires of the hearts are
Not always good.
It could be, it's looking for pleasurable things, whether that be pleasurable things of alcohol, of food, of just being lazy.
Physical pleasures.
Very much physical pleasure. I was just about to go say having sex all the time, stuff like that. If that's all you're chasing in all that, and you're not driven, and all your needs are being met, that digital,
Why do anything else?
this digital revolution is going to be
great.
Yeah, it's going to be great in not so many good ways.
Right. Well, and I think about that though too, because even like when I have my days where oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how mad I was at myself last Monday on Labor Day. I wasted down here in the basement watching videos, watching movies, listening to music, and just doing nothing besides that. So that's where I also think, because I literally just said, well, if everything's available to me, a snap of a finger, Thanos. Oh yeah, I watched the Avengers. Oh, it's great, but upsetting. Anywho, I was just thinking, I can't just sit here and do nothing all day. And that's what pissed me off. So, even though I just said, I'd probably just, become like a Wally fat person on a hover chair kind of thing. At the same time, I feel like that would also just drive me nuts. So then I couldn't do that. So I don't know what I would do now.
Yeah, but don't forget, and to be fair and honest, right? We, at this point in time, like if that technology became available just all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, right? That would uplift our entire way of life. We wouldn't know how to respond. So either way could go. Because to be honest, like all of a sudden, if money is no longer important, what do all these people who do all these jobs in all these places all of a sudden have to do?
Anything.
So there's all these questions like, what do you do now? What do people as a culture, as a community, as a group do with this time if everything is available at an instant? And I'm talking
Become
about
socialist.
Essentially, yes, because there would be no need for money. There would be no need for anything.
Right.
But you could just replicate all the material need.
Right. Well, that's if we have replicators.
Well, I know, but I mean I'm going along the lines of everything you want.
Yeah.
It's just instantly available.
Right.
In the digital world. But kids, we look at them, they're naturally curious when they're a young age. They're like, what are you doing? What's that? In that regard, I think if like a kid were to grow up where time and money was not a constraint, they probably would stay curious. They would probably still continue to want to learn these things.
Right.
Us as grown adults, we'd probably
shut up and relax and don't make a big deal out of it.
We'd become Southern redneck Wally-tized adults.
Yeah, you think so?
I can guarantee you, knowing you, one of the first things you're going to do is be like, I want this gun, and I want all the ammo for this gun.
Unlimited supply of ammo.
Literally, yes, you would just ask for it.
Gosh, if I could have anything replicated for me, what would the first thing be?
What I find curious about all this, Mr. Johnson, right?
Yeah.
I laid out these parameters, all this. The first, one of the first thoughts was like, you would become a Wally adult. You would, spend time doing this.
Yeah.
You know what you didn't say one of yet?
Drums.
Anytime your drums or your guitar, you haven't said any of that yet.
Wait, what?
Because all of a sudden, time is the only thing you have to worry about, and you didn't say
that I would do anything with my music stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I guess I better just sell it now.
That's good around Craigslist. So, no,
dude,
but
yeah, I would make so much
money.
But
did you notice when I asked you, like, what would you do with your time? Music didn't come up at all.
I'll listen to it.
Yeah, listening to it, but not
But I
creating
wouldn't
it.
create it.
But none of that curiosity and that self-drive came through.
Man, there's already too many people that are too talented to make stuff. I can't make stuff.
Yeah, but if now all of a sudden you didn't have to worry about money like they did, could you make yourself as talented as them with time?
I mean, probably not. Unfortunately. The only reason I say that is because I feel like my hands would give out at some point, and then I'd just have to stop anyways. And then I would be limited.
But I just find that interesting.
That is the fact that you put. Now I'm a little sad now.
Because we're going through that, and I was trying to give you chances, and nothing about music ever came up as you playing it. Listening to it, yes, but never of playing it. Even on that day that you said you wasted down here in the basement.
Yeah, I was so sad, so angry.
That being said, there is nothing wrong with taking a day here or there to just relax and
But
do
it
nothing.
was a beautiful day.
Yes, it was a beautiful day.
A beautiful day.
But there's still nothing wrong with taking that time, relaxing every once in a while. It's a good thing to do, both for yourself mentally, physically.
Right. But then if I could have something made, the only reason it's on my mind is because I haven't had one now for a little while, but it's a motorcycle. I'd love to just...
And of course, in the land of Star Trek, that's not really a thing that you need to worry about because you have transporters and they'll get you everywhere.
That's not fun. Oh, this is true.
You know?
But, yeah,
So yeah, if everything is done for us, then what's the motivation to go and do these things?
None.
And I think that's probably a good reason why we shouldn't.
Don't have that.
Well, A, we don't have it, but probably should be cautious about going that way. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There's some goods about it, right? Yes. If we could figure out this replicator technology, and that's just because that's what it's called in Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek. So, yeah.
You know what that would end? Almost immediately.
Hunger.
Yeah.
So, okay. Oh boy. Okay.
Okay.
So now, obviously, not going to the whole as insanely advanced as a whole replicator thing would be, but just because before we started this, we talked a little. It was Elon Musk or whatever has his robot thingy.
Yeah, the Tesla robot that they're working on.
Tesla robot stuff. So even if more stuff became, like, if let's say that catches on, and is an efficient way to get stuff done, and is reliable,
we are going to have to start talking about these things.
Yeah.
Because
think of how many jobs that would take
away
from people.
So depending on how advanced this is, obviously it'll probably start with stuff like server at McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But McDonald's...
Worker at Speed Tech.
Well, worker at Speed Tech.
Take my job, please.
But look at it this way. At McDonald's and that, right? A lot of them already have been experimenting with kiosks to order at.
Correct. Yeah. So now you literally just need someone to make it and give it to you.
And guess what a robot's really going to be good at? Same thing that a computer's good at.
Making stuff.
Tasks that are repetitive with set motions.
Yeah. Yeah.
If there are defined steps, like this is how you cook the hamburger, this is how you do. Guess what a robot could also have in it as part of the whole process? A couple things. One, it could be made out of material that's antimicrobial. Microbial. I can talk.
There we go.
That will resist bacteria and virus in that. So, that. It could have sensors to just kind of like put its finger on the meat. Okay, meat's cooked.
Well, right. Yeah, there's that.
You're no longer...
It could be consistent.
It would be consistent. It could always make sure that the patties were the same size.
Yep.
And it'd be
that would be... I mean, for McDonald's, that would already be a thing. That's pretty much okay.
Yeah, I know, but they could be like, oh, this one's 0.21.
This one's a little defective.
We'll add or subtract from it as necessary. Because again, if you can give a computer a set of steps for it to follow, it's great at that. A robot would be the same thing. If it could have things that are within its movement range for it to repeatedly do.
Right. So, and then, like, the only thing that I can think of then at that moment was you need somebody to be able to work on those once parts go bad.
Yeah. Or you have something like the Teslas where they can automatically order their own parts when a part goes bad on them.
Well, okay. That's that. Oh, my gosh. So, man, this, I now I really want to watch iRobot.
So we're going to have to confront those things sooner rather than later.
Right.
Because what do we do when these low-hanging fruit jobs, when I say low-hanging fruit jobs, I'm talking about jobs like, speed tech stuff, making
assembly
Velcro.
line stuff.
Assembly line stuff, restaurants,
Fast food especially.
Fast food especially. Maybe stuff like Gordon Ramsay, not so much, where there's a
Right.
little flair and all that in it,
Yeah, you got the human element.
Exactly. But,
Fancy.
Chick-fil-A, that could all be done with robots.
Yeah, and then they can probably say my pleasure to you as you leave and say thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Ugh, I don't like it though.
My pleasure, Aaron.
Be like, no, okay, leave.
And it has little blinking lights for its mouth. Like, smooth. My pleasure,
digital piece.
Aaron.
Oh my gosh. See, but then what happens when we have an EMP? We're screwed. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
but we'd be screwed probably anyway. So even with human
I'd
workers,
say,
so
how many of your cars would be working then at that point in time?
of course,
Unless they were off at the time.
right?
And not in any way on at all.
Yeah. Which
All
are
our
they like always sort of on?
most cars at least have some of their components on.
As like always.
Yeah.
Which is freaky to me.
Which would mean those parts would be blasted by the EMP and at least
Could
part
be
of your system
essential,
would
yeah.
go.
Yeah. So, but now, what year car do you have to have where it's not affected by EMP? I can't remember.
All cars have electronics of some sort, even the older cars with carburetors.
Yeah. But, oh, man. But at least some of those would be more so okay, though, if they were off.
If they were off, yeah.
If they weren't running at the moment.
The last carbureted cars were the 1990 Oldsmobile Custom Cruiser, Buick Estate Wagon, and Subaru Justy.
Okay.
The last carbureted light truck was the 1994 Isuzu.
Oh.
Leda cars, which is outside the U.S., used carburetors until 96.
Okay.
So
I'm just thinking about like
those
like,
old cars, so classic car collectors,
yeah.
would probably be fine as long as their cars were off.
Yeah. Wow.
But as we move into this more digital world, those are things you got to think about. When I was in college, I didn't have a walking internet box for me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So it was. Nowadays, even kids have their smartwatches and their phones and their
The tablets.
and then their parents have all the cameras around the house and the sensors on the windows.
The ring system.
So yeah, you get hit by an EMP now, you guys just goodbye. But yeah, as we move though into this, if Elon gets his way, if his vision becomes reality, he's going to have self-driving cars, self-driving trucks, self-driving probably rockets to space, and these robots to come and do all the menial tasks.
Which
We are closer to a Wall-E situation than you know.
That's what I'm like wondering. How far away is that actually, or how close could that actually
Now,
be?
one benefit of it is you get those robots, right? Put them out in the field working like the farms. So even on days where it's too hot for a normal person to be out there safely.
Yeah, they can still be out there and working.
Until they overheat and then.
Right. Because
electronics can overheat.
Yes.
Have you ever, I don't know if you've ever done this. I've had my phone out in the car and I leave it out there for whatever reason. Like I'm thinking for whatever reason, it will only take me 5 minutes to go visit my mother to get something out of the house.
First mistake.
Yeah, first mistake, because that will always be a 3-hour thing. Anyways, so there was one time I left my car on the mount in the car. I went and got it a half hour later, pulled it out, tried to use it. It goes, phone is too hot. Cool it down. Can't use it.
Oh, okay. I've never had that warning before.
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, my phone has gotten hot before.
Yeah, no, there's a difference between a phone getting hot and too hot for it to be used. But yeah, so the phone's electronics can get too hot or too cold to use. Most people don't. And I know you probably definitely do not. But when you get a piece of electronics, whether it be a phone, computer, whatever, included in the manual is the safe operating temperatures.
Yeah, no.
It'll show the coldest it can go and operate and the hottest it can go and operate.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. In the colder, it's usually a little more tolerant because the electronics themselves will keep it warmer.
Yeah.
Will warm it up. But the heat just, can be destructive.
For sure. Well, with my laptop, I'm not. I'm 99% positive that it got damaged permanently by overheating. Because one night, I remember falling asleep. Like, I hit the button to like have it go to sleep, closed it, and I just remember waking up and hearing like a fan going. And I was like, huh? And for whatever reason, the screen was blank like white on when I opened it up, and it was on, and it was hot.
Yeah.
And now, like, if I ever use like it will never do the face recognition thing anymore. Like, it's just it says, oh, won't work, doesn't work. So I always have to enter in the code to log in now. So I'm imagining something is messed up on there.
But yeah, so there's those safe operating temperatures for electronics, both big and small. That's why you have, fans on computers. They'll sometimes spin up because whatever you're running is approaching its max thermal.
Okay.
And those fans are speeding up to try to move air to just bring it down from the thermal.
Now, I guess another question that comes to mind, though, like, let's say, I mean, granted, it's not already a thing now, but, like, I don't know, digital equipment, whatever. Let's say, like, that's pretty much just running everything.
Right. Humans
aren't working, basically. So when you talk about how, like, when you have something running, it's going to get warm. Pieces are in movement, whatever, stuff is happening. Would that, I don't know, it just started making me think of this whole climate change stuff. Like, would that have an effect on I don't know, just how the climate is at all? Or would it be, I guess, for the better or for worse? I don't know.
It may, and just so much as the fact that there's just a lot of heat being exhausted.
Right.
But to be fair, it's gonna.
Are we gonna actually have global warming?
It's gonna equalize out with the rest of what's out there in the air. You'd have to have a lot of heat just continuously,
always going,
because some of that air is always exchanging up with the various poles to get that cooler air from those climates, and that's going to cool down.
Right.
So it would have to be just a crazy ton of electronics
stuff going on. Because then, I mean, the other aspect I think about that then is, though, if that's all happening and, like, we don't have, I mean, like, let's say there's nobody has to, like, drive anywhere anymore.
Well, that might reduce the
emissions and stuff like that.
Which, if we reduce the emissions, right, the theory is then that the heat from the sun doesn't stay trapped as much, and therefore the temperature overall would go down. That's the theory that behind this whole process that's going on. That's why they're like, oh, the Earth's climbing closer to that 1 degree limit.
Right. Now, I guess the question I have for you now also is, after watching Wall-E and then even was it the Avatar movie or were we starting? I don't know, but there's something going on in space.
Okay.
Do you think we would ever get to the point where we actually like move civilizations out into space? Or do you see that happening in the human race timeline?
I think that we will probably try.
If it will try.
I think we will try. I don't know how successful it's going to be, but that's always also been something like the human race has kind of always kind of dreamt about.
Right.
Yeah. For a while now, go out amongst the stars, explore the stars.
Yes.
Not, and some people like, I would love to live on like Mars, like, a terraform Mars. There are those people out there that if replicator technology became available for them now, they would be gung-ho and spend all their time and energy just figuring out how to do that, how to make it possible to do those things.
Because I was thinking about that, and like, yes, I can see people trying to like live out into space, but as far as it comes to like we're evacuating the Earth population into space because the Earth is no longer like as plentiful with.
Well, look at this way.
What is on it? I don't know.
At least in our current electronic design, right?
Yeah.
I say current because this could always change in the future. I will say that. But in current electronics and in current like motors and that, you need rare earth materials.
Yes. China.
As I say, China is one of the bigger rare earth material holders. Yeah. There's some in Alaska and that they want to try to mine.
I'm trying to think of the Stan areas like Afghanistan, Pakistan. They're more just oil and stuff like that. They're not like rare earthy stuff, right?
That's more in that China region and that.
Okay.
So China has big deposits of rare earth materials. So one of the things that we're going to have to get over in, I guess you could say conquer in the world mindset is this concept being so divisive. Because I can guarantee you, if you want to do something like evacuate the planet, you're going to need all the countries working together, A.
Yeah, that would take a...
B, you're going to need a ton of rare earth materials, and who's to say there's even enough of that? Unless we develop new technologies that doesn't rely on them, which we might. I'm not doubting that. But at the current point in time, that's kind of what we're at. Most of our chip manufacturing is over in those like China, Taiwan areas.
Right.
Chip manufacturing here in the U.S. is a few generations behind what's overseas. We are nowhere near as advanced here in the U.S. as they are overseas. Apple keeps going, oh, we designed our own chip. Yeah, you might design it, but you have no way manufacturing it except for using the manufacturing abilities of another country's fabricator.
Right. What if, like the world, like what if we split our territories and like each of us had a part, like a section that we like, so we have parts of the U.S. that now own parts in China, and parts in China now own parts of the U.S. So we all get materials.
What are you?
Someone's got to take over for Josh. Okay, I'm sorry.
Someone just took a stupid pill.
I just wanted to see your reaction.
Oh, my brain hurt and died a little bit all at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's going to take us as a planet working together. There's no way around that.
No, yeah.
But that, I'm going back to some of the other things you're talking about, like, so you brought up two things. You brought up the driver's license and the insurance cards.
Right.
Those are two separate things completely.
The license and insurance card?
Yeah. Why are they two separate things?
I guess does your driver's license have more sensitive information on it?
A whole lot more. Your
Well,
insurance.
yeah, your insurance card is just your vehicle.
It's like your
and your
policy.
plan.
It's like your policy number and
Yeah.
your vehicle information. On your car insurance, it's just your policy number, as well as some information about your vehicle and blah blah blah.
Right.
It probably has your name on it. So that's why a lot of states have allowed you to use your phone for the insurance card. Not all states do.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So Wisconsin does. So if you're in a state where they don't allow that, you actually have to have your physical card.
Oops.
Yeah. Yay, right?
Yeah.
Now, so that's one thing. If someone steals that card, it's not the end of the world.
No, you can get another. Well, I mean, you can always get another driver's license, but
What else does that have on it? What all is on your driver's license?
I mean, there's a ID number.
Obviously, don't read off your ID number.
So what is your ID number tied to? Can I get my wallet? Oh my freaking pocket!
No, you cannot.
Golly. I can't even hold my wallet. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's your fault. So I'm looking at my driver's
My
license,
hands
right?
are falling apart.
Here's what it has on it. It starts with your ID number. At least this is a Wisconsin one, okay? With your ID number.
Address.
Your first and
birth
last
date.
name. Yes. So it has your sex, your weight, your height, the color of your eyes,
It's
color of
got
your hair,
information on you.
date of birth.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like the addresses, the date of birth and address are the biggest things to me. I would imagine.
well, when you fill out application for anything, right?
Uh-huh.
What do you have to provide? You have to provide your address
Yep.
and your date of
Date
birth. You typically don't have to fill out your weight, your eyes, your hair.
No, that's-
You fill out on a dating profile site. You don't fill that out on
Right.
an application for a loan, right?
No. But then even what do you normally have to write your driver's license ID number for?
For employment,
Okay, that's
for
what
an
I thought.
applications, for like if you're going to get an apartment in that.
Yeah.
If you're going to get a car loan or stuff like that, you need all that information. It comes right off your ID, right? Well, it would be when you get your insurance card, right? How's that stored on your phone?
Through an app.
Okay, it's just stored right in your app, right? Mm-hmm. How is the ID card stored?
That I don't know.
Okay, how
Not
are
off the top of my head, at least.
okay? You know how you can pay with your phone? Just like touching your phone to
Yeah.
the. How are those cards stored on your phone? How are they stored?
Through the cloud. I don't know.
Well, okay, where do you put the card and payment into? On your phone.
I guess in an app.
What app? Have you done this yourself?
Maybe not. No. No. I don't have like phone pay,
Okay.
like the whole touch pay, whatever.
Okay.
Whatever. I don't
So,
know.
regardless if it's an Android or an Apple device, there's a wallet app where that's
There
like
is?
where that's like Samsung Wallet or Samsung Pay or Google Pay or whatever. Those are wallet apps. That's what that is.
Okay.
Okay. Now, on Apple phones and then on Android for those secure places, those wallets, so to speak, what they do is they encrypt the data, and that data can only be decrypted via a security chip on the phone.
Okay.
If you were to get a new device, a new phone,
Yeah.
guess what doesn't travel with you to your new phone over the cloud?
That data.
The data for your wallet.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because it's not connected through.
Because it's stored in the encrypted space. Now, Apple, I think, is doing some things where they can allow it to transfer between devices, but you have to like enter in your credentials to decrypt it, sort of deal.
Okay.
I don't know if Android's gotten to that part yet. So that's the main difference. Your insurance card is stored in generic app.
Yeah.
So your insurance company app, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the wallet information is stored
That's where you're-
specifically in an encrypted spot.
On your phone.
Yep.
So it's safer there.
Safer. Yes, I like the way you say that. Safer, not safe.
Yeah.
Because-
you can still get into your phone.
What we consider secure now may not always be secure in the future.
No, because there'll be new advancements and stuff, and
New ways to break in and all
People-
that stuff.
yeah.
So, yeah. So that's the main difference between that. That's why it's just now starting to roll out.
So all those people that, don't trust anything like banks and stuff or have any personal information on their phones or computers are the safest people out there.
No.
No? What are they?
They like to think they're safe, but to be honest, a lot of the larger companies like Facebook and that, right?
Yeah.
They have profiles on people who don't even have Facebook accounts.
That's terrifying. But they don't, they wouldn't have any financial information though, would they?
No, but they probably know what you like to buy and where you like to buy it from and what your
That's
are you a person who likes to spend a lot of money on good fancy stuff, or do you buy a lot of cheap dirty, common stuff? They'll know that.
Oh gosh.
Because our culture is so obsessed with the internet, so obsessed with purchasing online, so obsessed with browsing the web everywhere, right? Where we want everything that online free. We're willing to suffer through ads everywhere. And ads have gotten obtrusive everywhere, right?
Yes, they have.
And that's how Facebook is able to build a profile on you. They embed ads in site that has some Facebook code. They're now able to say, this is a distinct person. Their name is Aaron Johnson. They do not have a Facebook profile. But we will build this profile in the background so we can serve them up ads. And if they ever do join Facebook, we'll know exactly what they like before they even know they like it.
I don't like any of that.
Welcome to technology in the year 2021. It's only going to get even crazier.
Crazier.
But one of the questions you asked, how much longer until, it's all virtual, all computers, nothing physical. And,
Right.
and I brought up, hypothetical statements like, hey, you have a little food port. You walk into a little alcove, they go, whoop, whoop.
You're filled.
Inject your little food and drink port. You got all the water or food you need for the day customized to you.
See, now,
Again, if you had watched The Matrix, you would know that they live in a pod with a bunch of ports all along their bodies that just delivers nutrients and all that to them, and they don't even know it. Well, they don't even know it, but they're just sitting there floating in this goop in a pod. The robots actually harvest the heat from the humans to power them.
That sounds weird. I don't like any of it. Gosh, that's gross. No, but because when you talk about the whole food port thing, could you handle having your whole day's worth? No, yeah, you usually could handle all that at once. Never mind. Say
Or you might have to just go twice a day to the food dispenser.
yeah, I was just thinking because I was like, man, I've probably had a day's worth of calories in taken in.
Yeah,
on
and
one meal
you would
before.
step onto the plate in the machine and go, Aaron, you put on 3 pounds.
Yeah.
You are on a new special diet.
Yeah.
Creating Aaron customization menu, meal, level 4, weight loss 5, supplement 1, injecting.
Oh, I can totally see things like that happening now.
And then you just watch as this little tube sticks into your food port, and then all of a sudden black goop goes in. You're like, warm.
Delicious. Oh.
But that's what happens if, I'm saying that, right? But that's if you let a machine design how to optimally make you live, it would go, eating is very unoptimized, waste of time and energy. We're just going to inject the nutrients right into you.
We'll fix it for you. Thank you.
That's what happens if you let a computer do that. But because, let me rephrase it, a computer and a programmer who goes, let's make everything as optimized as possible.
I mean, interesting world to live in.
So in a way, I kind of envy some of you, as you call it, digitally disabled, because you're a little ignorant of the fact of what may potentially be coming down the line.
Pretty much.
You are just living blissfully, la-da-da-da-da, rolling around in dandelions.
I'm on that blue pill, man. Heck yeah.
So now you understand that what that meme means now.
Yes, I'm so happy.
Now you just got to figure out what black pilled, white pilled, and all that is.
All right, I'll be learning. Figure it out. Maybe. I don't know. If I remember.
Now, if you do go black pilled, I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to. We'll have issues.
Oh, no, now I got to figure this out.
And it depends on what version of black pill I will say, though. So we'll have to ask that. Because one version of black pill is like, okay. Another version of black pill is...
No bueno.
Okay, so one version is like, you don't see any way out of what is going on. No matter what we do, we lose.
Okay.
So that's one version of black pill, right? Another version of black pill is if an individual identifies with fascist beliefs, such as Italian fascism, National Socialism, etc. Black-pilled people are against red-pilled and blue-pilled people, liberal, democratic, capitalist countries, and socialist states. So, that's what I said. You need to define what
black-pilled I am.
Yeah.
The first one.
So, yeah, now there's all those things out there you got to define. But, yeah, there's black-pilled, white-pilled, all that stuff. So white pill is a worldview based on the maximization of happiness of an individual by acceptance of his situation in lieu of denial or anger.
Okay.
They call it an extension of the black pill.
An extension of the black pill.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
now I want to watch The Matrix.
Well, Matrix only has blue and red.
Yeah, but I still just want to watch it now.
And now if Matrix 4 coming out, red and blue is coming back.
Yeah.
Because Neo has to decide once again if he wants to learn the truth or not.
What has that person chosen in the past?
You're going to have to watch the movie and find out.
Dang it. I don't want to.
But that is the thing that we're... In a way, it's a perfect way to talk about what's going on with all of our stuff going digital. Electronic, computerized, robotic. Do we just turn our blinders on and let it happen without us being conscious about how we handle this and what our role as humanity is in this new society where robots are doing the menial jobs that no longer need to be done by low skilled, low entry level workers? Or do we consciously say, no, we can't do this until we as a society have moved on to where we are curious and where we're self-motivated? You know, in Star Trek world, when all this technology happens, you know, world had gone through World War III, the population was low, but people were starting to come together in groups and communities. So there was some optimism there, some hope there. They were wanting to get better, and then some of this technology came along to help them where they were able to overcome their suffering of like hunger and that. But right now, we got it pretty nice.
Right.
Especially in America. Let's admit it.
Oh my gosh, yes. First world problems.
First world problems to say the least. So as technology comes along and as technology continues to go, we'll have to take it one piece at a time. But the whole thing is, as this is going on, as you're learning about how technology is maybe taking away basic jobs, how Aaron's job will be automated by a Elon Musk robot, you, Aaron, as an individual, and that's true for everyone, as an individual, you have to decide, Are you going to be living in denial that these robots will be here to take your job? Or are you going to accept the truth and then start preparing for that next phase of your life when that robot finally takes you off the line from what you're doing? It's time for you to decide. Morpheus is holding out his hand and saying, take the red or take the blue.